For those of you who I haven't met, I am Lauren Silver. I am the Vice President of Education here at the Computer History Museum. Welcome to everybody. Some of you have traveled from quite a long distance. We've been having a good time this morning. Today, for those of you who are just joining us, we have a number of guests in the back. We have our students in the front. Today is the culmination of 6 months of very hard work on the part of many, many people, not just our very hardworking students and teachers, but a number of volunteers and staff at the museum. We've all been working very hard to come to this day. Before I just go any further, the hardest working of all of us has been Amy Gardner, who we will hear from more later on. She's our Manager of School and Teacher Programs. Amy, step up. Thank you. So we are very, very excited to share with everybody all of the work that all of us have been doing and to hear the students' final pitches for the innovative projects that they have been working on. Get Invested is a 2-year project that has been funded by the HP Catalyst Initiative, the Leo M. Shortino Family Foundation, and by a private donor. We want to thank all of them for their support. We may have representatives from some of them here today as well, and so we want to welcome everybody. As part of the Catalyst Initiative, we've joined a consortium of innovative education leaders around the world who are working to develop creative new approaches to education in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. Amy and I will be traveling to Beijing in a month to share this project with education leaders who work in this project, who work in the Catalyst Initiative from around the world. And we have prepared a film to place this project, give just an overview about it, and place it in context. So we thought that we would show you. We're going to share this with the Catalyst Initiative, and you can see the part that you all play in it. So the Get Invested program is a program that we designed for high schoolers in which they are learning about, they're using computer history as a basis for thinking about how problems are solved using technology. And the way that we designed it is for them to think about innovation, what innovation is, how they can apply the principles of problem solving and creativity and innovation to solve problems in their community and in the world that they identify as being important. We really wanted this to have a global reach, and so we identified students from a program in Monterrey, Mexico, that has come to visit the museum before. We knew they were interested in our content. We knew that they were interested in, that the teacher was interested in integrating it into our curriculum. And we also selected a group of local students who are from a school district, a number of school districts in San Jose, California. And they are largely at risk for school failure, for academic failure. They are in under-resourced schools. They're struggling academically. The schools that they've been in don't, for the most part, provide them with resources. And it's really important that as a community member in Silicon Valley that we interact directly with the schools and the industries and the research organizations and the people, the innovators who are involved in the ongoing history of computing. We have a unique opportunity to help students think differently and approach problems from a slightly different angle than they would be able to in schools. So we really get to collaborate ourselves, we get to model the kind of learning and the kind of collaboration that we're trying to get the students to engage in by having a formal learning environment and an informal learning environment, working together to design these learning opportunities for students.
Hi, I'm Richard Hilleman from Electronic Arts, and we're here at the Computer History Museum to meet with students from San Jose, California and Monterrey, Mexico. I'm going to surprise them with an assignment to help me improve a video game. Come on, let's go. So the idea today is to build a widget that you think your team could build, and I want to know about 6 parts of your plan. And what are those 6 parts? What do you think they would be? I gave you a hint.
Marketing.
Which one?
Marketing.
Huh? Marketing. There's a good one.
Design.
Design.
Engineering.
Engineering.
Art.
Art.
Sound.
Money. Money, yeah. So what we're going to do today is we're going to ask you guys in your teams to figure out how to organize a 5-minute presentation about how you would spend some money against a project to build a widget that you think would make our product sell better and maybe would have a chance to make money by itself. And we'll score you on those 6 criteria that you guys just made up. Okay? Thanks, let's go.
So this is how the screen would look like? If that's your menu, then what's in here?
The game.
The game.
There's no.
So what was hard? What made that hard? What was the hardest part of that?
Mainly getting up there.
Yeah? Why was it hard?
The preparation.
Uh-huh. You also learned it's a little bit of work, and that not all the work is the things that you expect it to be. Some of it's about being organized, about using your time effectively, and about thinking about the whole problem, not just the little part that you're responsible for. But there's nothing that you guys did today that's really any different than what we do. And I believe everybody in this room, if they wanted to be in our business, could be.
To just work with him and present my idea was not only a huge confidence, but a huge opportunity in my eyes. Working with Mexico was actually really interesting. They took multiple ideas and they formed it into one, and it was just amazing to see people from another country have better ideas than us.
The Get Invested program has been a catalyst for us, for the Computer History Museum, in a lot of different ways. So we're seeing that we're being pushed into realms of collaboration with schools, into making global connections, and into delivering our content and providing educational opportunities online and through digital and technological realms. Our ultimate goal is for Get Invested to be a program that is adoptable and adaptable by teachers locally and at a distance, whether they want to take on the entire semester or just extract a chunk and just incorporate it directly into their curriculum. So the teachers who we're working with are starting to take it and bend it and change it in new ways, and that's exactly what we want for it. Thank you. So let's get started. We have with us today 3 venture capitalists from Silicon Valley, and they're going to help us evaluate and get feedback about the pitches for the products that the students have developed. So I'd like to introduce each of them in turn, and they'll be coming up to join us on stage, and then I'll tell you a little bit about how this program is going to run. So first we have Teresa Ranzetta. Teresa, would you like to come on up? Teresa is from Excel Partners. She focuses primarily on internet and software investments with a specific interest in social commerce, vertical media, security and consumer internet and mobile apps. Thank you for coming, Teresa. Thanks for having me. We have Dave Martin with us. Dave is a founder and managing director of 280 Capital Partners, which is a mid-market technology private equity firm. Dave is also a trustee of the Computer History Museum. Thank you, Dave. And finally, we have Rich Ridelks. Rich is from Foundation Capital. He joined Foundation Capital in 2004 after more than 20 years in networking and communications, amassing a combination of startup, entrepreneurial, as well as large company intrapreneurial experience. Rich is also a trustee of the Computer History Museum. Thank you very much for coming, Rich. So the way this is all going to work is that each team will come up individually. They will have a chance to do a very quick pitch. One of our VCs described this as speed dating. So a very quick pitch, and then their teammates will come up, and it will be time for, after the pitch, anybody from the audience can ask questions. We have a mic in the middle of this aisle here. It's very important that the students get feedback from you who would be their potential customers for their products. So anybody who's at the back tables, any of the students from or teachers from either of the schools, please contribute your comments and questions. And after that, the VCs will give their comments and questions and their feedback. So everybody up here ready to go? Okay, everybody down there ready to go? All right, I would like to introduce Chris Garcia, who is a curator here at the Computer History Museum, and he's going to MC our show for us today.
So I've been lucky enough to be able to work with a whole bunch of folks at this front section here over the last 6 months, and now we're getting to see what it was all going towards. So let us start, as there was a random flip of the coin earlier, which was truly random because we had first lost the coin. But San Jose did win, so we'll be seeing CCOC first, and their presentation. Just a reminder, the microphone right here for questions, so formulate your questions while you're going through. And then we'll have a moment with our wonderful VCs. One more time for the VCs, everybody. Excellent. All right. So, let us begin with the Central County Occupational Center team.
I'm here today to introduce you to an idea you won't want to miss out on. I want to introduce my team. We have our engineers, Alan Romero and Jerry Reimers, our finance officers, Chris Douglas and Kathy Sue, our marketers, Gage Palafox and Jose Gonzalez, and our historians, Ruby Rubio and Tony Lopez. And I am the team leader, Morgan Wilson. We are from Central County Occupational Center, and this is Controlit. Controlit is an app that we have designed to solve many problems. A big problem we have in the world is overusing energy. There are millions of people around the world using apps such as Angry Birds for multiple hours a day, which is becoming a problem because energy is not free and is being wasted as well as time. So Controlit will monitor the energy that's being used throughout the world, and it'll tell how many hours are being used for apps that people are using. And when people see the hours that are being used across the world each day, hopefully they'll realize that they need to start saving energy. Now, on the mobile device history, you notice as the years go on, technology is getting smaller, and more energy is actually needed to run these devices, even though they're smaller. For example, back in 1983, Radio Shack sold something called the TRS-80 Model 100, which was basically an early portable computer. And now, most phones run off of lithium-ion batteries and can barely run up to 6 hours a day. That's a big difference. So Controlit is gonna make people realize that there's a lot of energy being used and we need to start saving it. There might be some apps that are trying to successfully save energy and monitor battery life, but it's obviously not that successful because no one has really heard of any. So Controlit is going to overcome all the other apps, and it is going to make it different because we have made it into a game also. So for saving energy, you score points, and for the points you gain, you get levels. And for some levels, you might get a prize. You'll see on the first slide, You'll see on the first slide that it monitors your battery life, app usage, internet usage. You also can cancel out of apps from Controlit. You can usually do that on phones, but you also get a choice that if you have an inactive app for so long, you'll get a choice to delete it. It'll show you that hey, you haven't been using this app. Are you sure you want it still here? So you can manage your memory space, your memory. And on the second slide, or design, you can see that you get the world stats, basically. So for the market, we're targeting Android market because it's the easiest, and the apps can communicate with each other and get data off of each other, and iOS can't for the iPhone. So how we're going to make money. Lite versus Pro version is what we have decided for the app. For the Lite version, you will only get to see the world stats, because that's the big problem, to save energy. In the Pro version, you'll get everything. You'll get to monitor your battery life, you get to see the world stats, and you also get to manage your data. So people have data plans when you have a smartphone, and if you go over on your data plan, it costs you money. So Controlit is going to tell you if you're about to go over on your data plan and how much more data you can use until you go over. There will also be a donation section to the app, so people can donate money to Controlit, and there will be in-app advertisements. So getting us started, we're asking for $10,000 to go towards servers. We need 2 servers, one so that people can connect, and another one as a backup. Also the internet service and the power and the staff, but we can guarantee that we have a lot of the brain power that we need on our team to get us started already. So Controlit is the best that you're going to get out of saving energy. You get to monitor your battery life, and it's going to show you how to manage so that you can get further in your battery life for your phone and your data usage, that you don't go over and you're not paying more money than you need to. So Controlit can guarantee the best. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, now, folks with questions, microphone's right there. One at a time, please.
Well, so your application basically just tells you like how much energy you're wasting in
Yeah, that's the
with the
big
cell phone.
problem. Yeah.
And how would that help the world? Like, how would that make people use less energy?
Well, actually, the big problem is how it's affecting us socially, because everyone is wasting most of their time on these apps, and it's also wasting energy. So, oh yeah, it's basically like a have-to-have. You're killing two birds with one stone.
Okay. And you mentioned points within the app. What will be like the purpose of those points?
If you go back to the first slide, you can see that the most app usage is in games. So if we want people to use our app, we'll also put a game into it. But our app obviously doesn't use as much energy as others. So having a game into our app will make people want to use it.
So your application would tell like people how much energy they are wasting, and by not wasting energy, they win points, and that's what encourages them to.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
Okay, my question is, your app is gonna make them like, it's gonna tell them like, you're using a lot this game, and it's gonna tell them how much energy you're spending on that game. So the points you win by not using it, the points will make you play another game, or the points will...
The game is basically you're gaining levels for how much energy you save. So for example, if you run apps, right, for canceling these apps, like other apps other than Controlit, you will get points, and that will help you to gain more levels.
So you're creating a game that to level up, you have to stop using another games.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
All right. Another question? Yes.
Hey, Caleb.
You gotta call me out on that?
Yeah.
So one of the questions that we here at CCOC had is this going to be strictly on phones, or do you plan it to also move it to other platforms such as the PC?
Strictly for phones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, it can evolve, I mean, over time.
In the very back.
I'll ask a question. So you mentioned a light version and a pro version. I assume the light version's free?
Yes.
And then how much is the pro version?
We haven't really decided that yet,
Okay.
but the light version will also be a limited time thing, so that people will want to buy the pro version after, because we'll also advertise what's better in the pro version, like how many more features you get than compared to getting only one feature in the light version.
Okay.
So did you guys debate whether to have the light version be you decided to make it time limited?
Yes.
Although if you look now at a lot of mobile apps, instead of Light and Pro, they have what's more called the freemium model, which is it's always free. Like Dropbox or Evernote's always free, but then if you want more storage or more features, then people will pay.
For the
Did you
Pro.
guys debate those two different models? Because they're slightly different.
No. we haven't, but we'll be sure to now.
Okay.
Thank you.
So are the points that you can gain by saving more energy, is that just a game, or do those convert into some other benefit?
Can you?
Like, do you get a prize or monetary value from the points?
For example, maybe if you get to like level 3 or something, you'll get like a Controlit pencil sent to you, or at level 15, you'll get a $1 Amazon gift card. Like, I've seen apps do that, so that's what we're trying to do.
When you talk about energy savings, savings is relative to some other point in time. So, I mean, if I just install this app now, you don't know the history of my game usage. So are you going to sort of track it and compare it to the day before? So every day I should play fewer games than the day before? I'm trying to figure out how that works.
Yeah, that's basically how it will go.
So it's sort of a day-to-day improvement?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any technical reason for not including iOS, or is that just step 1, step 2 by Android?
Pretty much step 1, step 2, but iOS, the apps, I've heard that they don't, you can't get data off of one another to communicate.
All right. Any more questions from anywhere? There again.
Sorry, I forgot to ask this. On your first slide, you mentioned how much like energy does each different section from a phone, for example, takes. So, for example, I remember seeing games was the most, like 40-something%. Have you make like a research in saying if your app delivers to your purpose and says like, okay, it's gonna shut down unused apps, how much energy will they be saving? Like, that's my question, basically. If the app like meets its purpose, that it's like if I as a user want to like end unused apps to save energy, about what % of energy could be saved depending on the phone?
Or we still have to do research on that, I guess, but yeah.
Okay, don't worry, thanks.
Anybody else out in the audience? Yeah.
Hi, are you guys using any sponsors who are like focus on ambiental preservation in order for your product to self-sustain itself?
Okay, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, are you guys looking for any sponsors who focus on,
Yeah, that's pretty much what we have to do for the in-app advertisements, that we need sponsors for that too. Or they pay us to have in-app advertisements. Sponsors, though, yes, we're looking for.
Okay, so what will be the benefit for the sponsors if they decide to join your service?
What the sponsors will be getting is advertisement and exposure through our app. So that's what they're benefiting from us.
It's like people getting to know their company also, so they're getting customers from that too.
Okay, thank you, that's great.
All right. Anybody front row?
So your application, what kind of game will it be? Because the variety of games is like huge. And what will make your application and the game doesn't spend too much energy, like is your purpose to don't spend energy?
So the game works like you'll get points. It's basically just a level system is what the game is. It's not like you're going around like Call of Duty or something and shooting people, but you're basically just gaining levels. So like for quitting other apps, you'll get points and you will gain the levels. to save energy, we made it so that we're gonna make it so that it's not using as much light given off from the app, which isn't using as much energy.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right, got one right there in the middle.
So your application is a game, right? And to get to be known, it's supposed to be like an interesting game that people like to spend time on it and play it and stuff like that, right? But that wouldn't be like a contradiction. Like if I like this game, I'm gonna play it and I'm gonna like spend time on it, and that causes like energy wasting of my cell phone, which is like what you're trying to stop.
No, basically you have other apps running, right? You don't have to have Controlit running the whole time, but it'll take the information off the other apps. So when you close them, you're still getting points for it. And the whole point of Controlit isn't just for the game, but it is to have the energy awareness of the people and social awareness that we need to start communicating with each other.
So it's like, I just like use it, I don't know, once I turn off on my cell phone and that's all. Like, I wouldn't try to spend time on it.
Yeah, it's more like just for how much time you haven't been using other apps. Also, you will be getting points for that, not just not running anything or turning off your phone, not like that.
And would you, like, do you know how much time you spent, like, how would it know how many energy you're saving by not using other apps?
Well, once we start our app, we're going to start getting the information off of the usage from the people that are using it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, couple more questions. One right in the front.
I'm sorry for asking this again, but it wasn't quite clear for me. Like an app itself, a game app itself, it's taking a lot of your battery. Like it's draining your battery. How is your application that it's going to be like combining two applications, a game application and like a statistic application will consume less than just like one regular application?
Like I said, we're going to make it so that you have light in your, lighting in your phone, right? So when you run Controlit, we'll use darker colors also, which doesn't take up as much energy, which they're doing now in other phones. So like other apps will have like white or something, and that uses actually more energy than darker colors. And so the main thing isn't about the game, so that's not really taking up the most of the energy. It's still trying to get you aware of to stop using energy. So it's not like you're going to be on it every day, like looking at it, but you'll still be getting it.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, okay. There you go.
Hi. I want to say a comment as a teacher and also as a parent that the way I see it in this point of view is that I'm very happy that you have such application to create awareness in little kids, because I see young generation always wanting to be involved in electronic devices, activities, and probably they're not thinking about the damage that this can cause to the world. We, as parents, always talk about their health, like you should be playing football outside or you should be running out, swimming or something, but not necessarily address the ecological issue. And I'm very happy and I congratulate you because I think it's a very good point that you have in your application.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right. Now that the question and answer period is over, you may applaud.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go over to the VCs. Let's start on my left and go rightward.
Okay, so I think it's an interesting idea, and the one question, though, that venture capitalists look for first and foremost that you didn't address, and I was going to ask it as a question, but we kind of ran out of time. Maybe I'll ask it now, is how big of a company can you build? Because before people invest in any company, the number one question is, how much am I going to get back? They do it as an investment. They want a return on the investment. And you know, there's obviously some implied, if I think about the number of cell phones, but my sense is this is going to be a smartphone application, so not all cell phones. It's probably going to be for younger people, because business people have to do their job. They don't play a lot of games. So have you thought through how big of a company this is and how much revenue you can create?
We have thought about how big it's going to be. I mean, so first we're going to target the Android market, right? But once we get enough information, we will combine it to more like the BlackBerry or some like others like that, and maybe get it into the iPhone also, and the tablets too. So yeah.
Okay. What I'd recommend when you do a business plan is you actually break it down to look at, okay, how many Android phones are there going to be sold in the next few years, and then the demographic of, we think this, because not everybody who buys an Android is a student. Some of them are business people who probably won't run this app. And if you break it down, you say, this is, you know, I think we could sell 100 million of these a year. We think we can get, you know, so much from the advertising revenue, so much for the professional model, and break it down to how big of a company, you know, a company with this amount of revenue. Because if I'm going to invest $10,000, I want to know, you know, how big of a company you can build for that. So that would be my biggest advice, is focus on how big of a company you can build.
Okay.
Thank you.
So first of all, I really liked the idea. I thought that it was very creative. I thought that in going through the things that you were asked to do, I thought you did an excellent job on explaining both why you thought it was needed, and I thought the historical context was very clever that you provided, so I thought that was great. And I thought that it was also clever that you worked a bit of a game mechanic in it that is really just tracking and points and competition, so it doesn't take a lot of not only lighting but CPU. It just kind of runs in the background and you check in once a day to see how many points you've earned. So I thought that was clever, sort of playing to your audience. And in terms of, you know, suggestions, I would agree with Rich. One of the things I noticed was you didn't give the overall size of the market. You gave the size of the problem in the beginning, but, you know, there are Y million Android phones in the world, kind of a thing. And then I think in terms of the business model, I think it would be good to, in order to get to the Rich's second part of the problem, you really need to put a stake in the ground. Okay, we're going to charge 99 cents and 2% of the people will give us 99 cents or whatever, just to complete that, because we need to know how big of a company you think you can be in, you know, a year or 5 years or 10 years. And then the one other thing that's normally in there, but in fairness, it was not on your list of things to do. One of the students asked it is, what's your go-to-market? So what's your strategy for how you're going to get your product out in front of people so that they'll know about it and sell it? So that's just sort of, in general, one other thing to think about. And then the last thing is just really an idea, a suggestion. So if you were really to do this, I think that one other thing that you can do that's very clever, so people are competitive with themselves, but obviously especially your generation and smartphone users, very competitive and well aware of sort of social dynamics. So I think to the extent that you would show users how they were doing, not only relative to their own history and get points for that, but, you know, leaderboards or relative performance to other people, and that will also encourage them to share the app with their friends so that they can be better than their friends.
So I thought you did an excellent job as well on the outline, and despite your prior comments before you got up there, if you were nervous, you didn't look nervous. You did very well.
Thank you.
You're a good presenter. You guys picked a good presenter. So a couple of overall points. Investors like kind of thematic thesis investing, and you've picked an area, energy, that is thematically powerful. And there are whole industries being created to deal with that. Some government funded and some bankrupt, but otherwise a lot of energy focus. And so investors thematically will like that. The dichotomy that I think you have is this idea that if the Android users are young people playing games and that's the primary target audience, And knowing that my son does a lot of that, it's going to be tough to convince my son to stop playing all the games he wants, because he wants to play even more. And so my advice would be that you have to provide both a quantitative financial and a societal advantage for my son and the millions of sons like that and daughters, to say, you know, it's worth my time to do this because there's a benefit to me. I have to buy batteries, you know, less often, and I use less plug-in energy, electricity. And then some sort of value proposition around, if I do this, I'm benefiting society. And that if you add up all of those people's efforts to do that, it's good for society. My only final recommendation would be, whatever you do, don't partner with PG&E on this program. Because they have proven that even a good idea like a smart meter, they can really muck up the marketing of it.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's have one more time. Now, as the first of the two teams is gone, we'll be having the second in a moment, but first, we're going to show a video.
Ser gente UDEM es hacer nuevos amigos. Ser gente UDEM es desarrollar mi creatividad.
Es tener lugar ideal para estudiar. Ser gente UDEM es ser líder.
Ser gente UDEM es superar tus propios límites. Es aprender a ser mejor persona.
Ser gente UDEM es contar con el apoyo de mis maestros.
Ser gente UDEM es ser libre y responsable.
Es dar el 100% en todo lo que haces.
Es vivir al máximo.
Ser gente UDEM es saber cuidar el entorno que te rodea. Es respetarme a mí mismo.
Ser gente UDEM es ser auténtico.
Es aprender a tomar mis propias decisiones. Ser gente UDEM es dar una mano al que lo necesita. Ser gente UDEM es ser alegre. Es sentirte orgulloso de tu propia cultura. Ser gente UDEM es aprender a defender y generar mis ideas.
Ser gente UDEM es saber que puedes tener el mundo en tus manos.
Ser gente UDEM es desafiar mi futuro.
Hello, my name is Rolando. I'm 18 years old. I'm part of the Getting Basic project, and I'm on 6th semester. I like to write and to express myself with the writing, and I want to change the world.
My name is Javier Guajardo. I like biking, and I'm in UDEM San Pedro.
Hi, my name is Constantino. I'm from UDEM San Pedro. I'm 17 years old. I love working with computers, and I'm very happy to be able to go to San Francisco this year.
I'm Patrick. I like movies and cameras, and I'm from USP San Pedro.
Hi, I'm Luis Patricio Guerra. I am from UDEM USP. I like to play soccer, and I wish you the best luck.
Hi, I'm Santiago. I'm from USP UDEM. I'm 17 years old, and I wish you the best of the lucks in there in San Francisco.
Hi, my name is Alan. I'm in the USP on the 2nd semester, and I love computers.
Hi, my name is Rafael Treviño. I'm in second semester of USP and I like computers.
Una, dos.
Hi, my name is Mauricio Rumbat. I'm in fourth semester in USP and I like playing soccer.
Hi, I'm Mari Carmen. I am in second semester in USP. I like to hang out with my friends and I wish I was there.
Hi, I'm Claudia. I'm 16 years old. I'm in second semester and I love to watch TV shows.
And we are best friends.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Oscar. I'm 16 years old. I'm from UDEM USP.
Hi, my name is Grecia. I am 16 years old. I am in second semester and I love to dance and to hang out with my friends. I wish I could be there with you in San Francisco.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Monterrey, Mexico, the birthplace of a fair number of my cousins, the group from UDEM.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Rolando, and I would like to thank you all for inviting us, being here. It's an honor to be here, and I would like to introduce my team: Roberto, Alan, Mauricio, Rafa, Constantino, Adrián, Marianne, John Paul, y Alex. And also, I would like to introduce the rest of the team. He's been in the iPad right there. They're taking support for us right there in Mexico. And let's start with the presentation. Okay. First of all, our presentation is called Move, and our slogan is Move for the World. It's basically a mobile application that encourages the users to exercise and contributes to social causes and helps reduce traffic and pollution. This is the main idea of our application. In the next slides, we're going to present how are we planning to make this happen. In the next slide, we're going to present the facts about our presentation and why would it have to be developed. In San Francisco and Monterrey, there is constant traffic jams and air pollution, and also there are many health issues. And what's being done right now, there's growth in supporters and awareness campaigns, but we have to make something more. We have researched about how do applications can manage or have the power to change a person's life because you get influenced by it. Also, we have research about similar applications like Nike GPS, which is an application that helps you track your runs and is used by runners throughout the world. And also another application is Runkeeper, which is an application that allows you to track different workouts. But our application is different than this one because we have this focus. We have the focus to do social contributions to make people healthier, and we want to do it by a fun way. So the main reason is that young people like us want to feel they are a change or a part of a greater cause. And the dynamic of the application is that we have to make deals with local green enterprises so we can offer points or rewards for the application users. Okay, next. This was the sketch of the similar applications, the Nike that I just mentioned, and the Runkeeper. And the features, some of the main features of our application is that it has playback buttons inside the applications for you to control the music you want to hear when you're running. You can share your routes and events with friends on Facebook and Twitter. And also, it shows you the environmental contribution information you're getting from doing that run or that exercise, which is biking or walking. It shows you how many saved trees you contributed by walking instead of using the car, how much pollution you reduced, and the health benefits like calorie burning and that kind of information. Also, you can compete with friends by the social networks. And these two are the main features that we can present to you, which are the events, which are presented in 3 different categories: user-defined, organizational-defined, and vendor-defined. I'm going to explain it later. And the contribution to social issues. The dynamics of the application is the acquirement of points through walking and biking with the use of an algorithm based on time and distance traveled, which is the effort made. And based on this algorithm, you get points by doing the exercise. And these points can be used in 2 ways. Self-use, which is the main revenue of this application, and social contributions, which is how we want to change the world with to contribute to social causes. This is the dynamic. The points are financed through sponsors. These sponsors are at the same time financed through advertisements and products sold because of the advertisements. And the advertisements are put in the events and at the startup of the application, which is going to be free. Next, please. Advertisements are going to be banners in the ads events and the startup, as I already said. And we are going to get money by the fees per event made. And also, there's a small fee per participant made in each event. And also, there's a smaller percentage fee for vendors in each event. This is just how can you see the relationship between us, which are the developers of the application, the clients, and the vendor, which are the enterprises we have to make relationships with so we can make our finance model work. Okay, the audience we're trying to target are young people and adults with environmental consciousness interested in making a change in the world. And the target vendors and contributors would be entertainment, media, health, sports, and clothing companies, which will be the sponsors, and green companies like Greenpeace or companies that clean water, for example. The sponsors could be defined by the event, the user, location, cost, and point range. There will be also a link to social networks to target the audience. For example, if I use this application, my information shows that I'm from Mexico, so the sponsor will be from Mexico, right? Okay, next, please. Okay, the events, I'm going to go through each one. The user-defined event is an event that I, which am the user of the application, can manage to do. Like, for example, when we do an event on Facebook, for example, these events are sponsored by cause or project, location, duration, etc. And users set the parameters as well as the title, the location, and the privacy or invitation settings. For instance, if I want to do an event as a user, I could say, okay, my event, I want to call it Monterey Challenge, and the distance would be 3 kilometers. And for each, the benefits I receive from these events are that users, like myself, receive points per participant in this event. And that's a way to make this application grow, because I'm going to invite my friends to use this application so I get points. And also there's an opportunity to find a cause. Okay, and the second type of events are organization-defined events, which are sponsored according to developers or organizations. And the benefits of these events is that it promotes the application, it promotes community interaction, because I'm talking to my friends so they can come in and run with me, and also challenges and trips, and the collaboration to social causes. For instance, if an organization like Nike, for example, tells me, I want an event, I tell them, okay, I, the developer, do this event for you, and then all the advertisements are from Nike, not from other companies, and that's how they get the benefit. And the vendor-defined, as I was explaining, has this destination rewards. For instance, you can, if you are the vendor, like for example, the last example, Nike, can say, okay, this race ends at my store. So then when people end this race, they can buy stuff. Okay, there's also massive advertisements and in-event ads. And there's a small participant fee. If there's a large amount of participants, we put the fee, a small fee, like for example 10 cents per person, and that would be a massive amount, so we get the revenue to pay our application and the servers and stuff. Okay, and this is a special type of points which are called world-changing points, which are used to social causes, which could be clean water, plant trees, or feed child. We all know these events, right? These events are powered by a sponsor, which is the main revenue they get. They get advertisements, and they, in exchange, pay for the points, or in this example, pay for the help given to those companies. Also, posting to social media is primary to attract participants, because if I say, okay, I ran 10 kilometers and I got 1,000 points, I spend them into a cleaning water project, so then my friends will say, oh, I want to do it also, and they are attracted to this type of events. Also, there's no participant fee for these events, for they to grow, and we work together to contribute with social companies like Greenpeace, as I said. Okay, the benefits for the audience is social contribution, healthy lifestyle, traffic and pollution reduction, enhancements of social interactions, and the benefits for the vendors, or the companies making the relationship with us, are the increase in sales, reputation, and innovation, because they are working in a new type of market, and also advertisements. Okay, and as we all know, the benefits of exercise are better health, in a summary. Okay, these are some sketch or mock-ups from our application. Next, please. Just so you know how the interface would look like. And then you can, there's the application here. As you can see, it's just a regular application. It's not fancy at all, because we are not looking to have something fancy, but to change the world, right? And what needs to be done? We need to manage the development of the application. We need to manage the vendor relationships, online communities, and updates and feedback. How will this be done? We are asking you for the money to do the first step, which is the development of the application. The vendor relationships will be done afterwards when we have the application made, and also the online communities and updates and feedback. If you have some questions, I'm going to introduce you to my marketer, which has the numbers for these managements. Okay.
Well, my name is Roberto, and I'm the marketer, and I'm just here to explain a little about the numbers we're asking for you, the vendor capitalist. So basically, for the development of this application, we're asking, as well as the other team, $10,000, and this money would be spent in different ways. We would need more money for the development of the application. We would need your help to contract different servers with GPS, so the runners can know, can connect to the other social medias with friends and everything else. We would also want marketing. We would like as well money to promote our application in social medias. And after we reach the goal of gaining the $10,000, and after we, as the application, have already a solid base, we would then be a self-sustained application with in the application advertisements, sponsors, donations, and events. As Rolando said, we would make different kinds of events like races and different stuff, different kinds of events like that would give us money to be a self-sustained company.
Thank you. And we're done. That's our team, the whole team. And that's it.
Okay. So who's got a question? Yonder.
How are you supposed to compete with all the other devices and things that are out there?
Okay, that's an excellent question for my engineer, Alan. Can you answer the question, please?
There are other apps like ours, but none of them have the same like, how can I say, objective? Yes, which is to like impact the world in changing it. So like the Nike app, they only help you to work out, and they don't give you anything like for you. Yeah, I mean, it's something for you to use, but you can't like contribute in social issues or like get discounts in prices. I mean, we made this app like attractive to teenagers and self-conscious people because they can help the world and get like stuff back either. Like there are apps like, well, I get yours. You're helping the environment, yeah? But our focus is to make them want to help the environment by giving them stuff, like the discounts and what else? And being a part of the cause, which is the most important thing here, which will bring us some big revenue because of the discounts and the vendors and the companies will be interested in joining us in this cause.
I wasn't just talking about apps, I was also talking about the other devices that are out there.
Which devices?
Well, I've heard of other devices. I won't name them right now, but there are others.
But
Okay, our application can be run in all of the smartphones, and I was checking out data on the websites when we were doing the research. There's an amount of 100 billion users of smartphones in USA, and not to mention Mexico. So we can develop this application for smartphones, and then those audience can be worked towards ourselves. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
All right. Another question? Let's see if someone else has one also. Anyone? No? Okay, fine. Go ahead.
How are you going to adjust the phone to be able to track this stuff? Because I know that the phones nowadays, right now, wouldn't be able to track it.
Excuse me, can you repeat your question, please?
How are you going to get the phone to track it? Because I know that phones right now do not have the capability to track this.
Okay, I'm gonna let my engineer again.
Okay. Well, we're going to start like you with like smartphones, like Androids and iOS devices. Androids have GPS. Most of them have GPS or location services, and iOS, like the iPhone, it has location services. We're going to start with that because it's the most easiest way to get like a big critical mass. Then, if we use the users use like our app a lot, we're going to get into Blackberries and all sort of that phones that don't have location services, and we're planning to use like the cellular antennas or yeah, like those phones don't have like the location services and the GPS. That's what you're saying, no? That there are phones that can manage this. Well, we could use like another sort of technologies that using like social media or other kinds, because as you say, there are phones that can't handle this. But our main, what I say, goal, well, no. The audience we're aiming for are, principal, the ones that have smartphones are capable. Yes, smartphone users. Then, if we have a lot of critical mass, we're going to expand into like BlackBerry phones by using like cellular chips as tracking devices, or using a web page just to track them. But it's not going to be the same because you really need the GPS to prove that you are helping, and so you can get the discounts and you can be in the bands and all that sort of stuff.
Well, I was just gonna add to that question as well. That's why we're asking for this like high amount of money, because we know that for GPS services, they're expensive, and we know we need money for that. And like the more money we have, the better we can give to our customers, and the more they will like our applications. And a lot of Android devices worldwide have like cellular plans, and that cellular plans will give them internet like wherever they are, and that's why we would use that GPS application, so we would know where they are and how they are trying to contribute into our cause. And like as Alan said, like if you are actually doing like something for the environment, or you're just like putting numbers like fake to get more points and discounts, that's why we would use a GPS, and that's why we're asking for that amount of money, because the more money we have, the more we can work with, and the better we can, like the better results you get for the application.
Those are some wise words from our marketer. Do you guys have any other questions?
So my question is, in the application, how do you know how they're gonna work out or help doing the cause so they could get the discounts? And then also, how does the GPS know they're working out? Like, if I'm like driving my car and I'm going to that location to the other one, and is there a way to monitor if they're not cheating the system so they could get the discount?
Yeah, the way, as we mentioned, is an algorithm based on distance and time, which is the effort made. If you travel 5 kilometers in just 1 minute, we know you're not walking, right? So, so that an algorithm is going to be developed, and that's why we're asking for money. And throughout the development of the process, we're going to research, and that's why the updates and feedback are going to be asked for. Does that answer your question?
Like, if someone like is skateboarding over like biking, is it?
Yeah, it has different options. You can do it by walking or doing by biking, and if the feedback shows us that users want to be using another type of vehicle, like skate or something like that, we can add it later. But we first have to have our application developed.
So you would click on the certain option of travel?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other questions anywhere? Okay, one more time. Jerry.
First off, I think you guys did an amazing job. You guys both focused on apps, which kind of shows you where our industries are at right now and where you guys see, you know, the influx of money. That's amazing. I think looking at this, you guys should combine it so that they have to move to turn on the apps. I just see it move on. So that was my initial thing from back there. Is like, well, make them exercise, and then they can save energy, because if they don't exercise, they don't get to use it. You guys have addressed a lot of social issues. You guys know that there's the health out there. The one thing that I think that you guys could really emphasize on, and that I liked you guys were there, is the quests. People like to have fun, the games. Both sides had games. You guys know that you want to do the games. And you guys took like the physical area of it. I mean, I want this app. You have it published, right? I can download it because I want this app. And the quests, I go geocaching with my son, and doing these quests would be out there. I can see him on his iPod already. So don't let this slip by. Actually take it. And the fact that the both of you guys have these ideas, try to make it run with it, because it's not hard to develop an app, and it looks good. So you guys did a really good job.
Also, thank you for your comments and our feedback. We have this idea of making an online community where you can, for example, walk by, and then in your trip, have you heard about GoWalla? Okay, you can drop stuff, virtual stuff, and then if you go by and pass by that dropping it item, you get a badge, and it tells you that you have picked up an item, and then you can drop it off later. So that's kind of an online community game that can be developed. And I talked about Goala because we are right now making a contact with a creative producer from from Goala, and we have the contacts right now. We are trying to work together to develop these online communities. But yeah, it's an excellent feedback, and thank you.
Excellent. Well, hey folks, let's go over to our VCs. This time let's start on the right and work leftish.
Does that mean me?
Sure.
So some high-level points. I love the move positioning. Whoever picked the name ought to be applauded. Or was that a group effort?
Yeah, it was a group effort. Actually, we worked together through several months trying to make the name a hit.
You should know that when startups pick names, very, very often it almost blows the startup apart because they can't agree on a name, so you've done well.
Yeah, it's pretty catchy also.
Again, to this thematic investing theme, this is really neat because you got social cause, cutting down on travel and energy, and you got a real personal thing. That if someone told me if you asymptote the current trend on obesity in the United States, that by the year 2050, everybody will be obese. And so this has a really good connection to reversing that trend. I thought the user benefit, vendor benefit part was outstanding on the vendor side, and you know, our investors like to call that the value prop. Why will the vendors put up points, and why will Nike sponsor an event? I thought the user benefits might have been a little too much, and maybe the way to think through that would be to say, you know, maybe you have 2 or 3 different target audiences, and each one has some tailored value points that you want to get across, because obviously the key to this is getting people to download it and so on. So, I mean, just to take 2 examples, you got those that are already exercising and are into it, and they look at this as a neat new little feature that they can get involved with and, you know, make some points off of and so on. And then you got a whole group that doesn't exercise, and you know, what's the value prop difference between those 2 different groups? Because in a perfect world you'd have both signing up, and that especially is valid to the societal benefit, i.e. getting people not exercising out there exercising. I thought the whole presentation was great. I thought you did a great lead job, and involving your teammates like you did shows both leadership and the strength of the team.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I also thought it was great. So I was just sitting here thinking, and I'm sure Rich and Dave would agree, this is a great day because usually we sit through a dozen pitches, and if we find one good one, it's a good day. So we're 2 for 2. So great job to both teams. In particular, what I liked was, you know, agreeing with Dave, obviously the mobile and the social, and I thought actually that your distribution strategy around sort of creating social causes and social media sharing inherent in the app was very clever. And there are examples of companies that have grown pretty large from that, not on the mobile side yet, but just on social. So you guys might remember a Facebook app called Little Green Patch, which is around sort of social goods, social causes, which got tremendous adoption. So I think the marrying of sort of a social cause-based sort of game competition and putting it onto mobile has tremendous market opportunity. So I thought that was something that you guys did particularly well. I think that if there was one thing that you should do that you didn't do like the other group, there wasn't a slide on sort of the size of the market for the end. You mentioned it at the end in the Q&A, so it's good that you knew those numbers, but it's obviously always very good to give a sense for how big the market is that you're addressing and therefore how large you think your company can be. But I thought overall it was terrific and great presentation. I agree with Dave. It's always good to get people involved in both the presentation but also in the question and answers.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll agree with Dave and Teresa. I think you guys did a great job. I think an excellent job at defining who the audience is, who your target is, both from a consumer of the app as well as the sponsors. So I really understood what your product was all about. I understood the value proposition to the various stakeholders, as we like to call them, the people who are going to be involved in this business. So that was all very, very clear and compelling. So hats off, very good on that. As Teresa said, though, I'm going to give you $10,000. I don't know what I'm going to get back. So it's very important because our business at the end of the day is about getting a return on our investment. And what we look at is how much are we going to put in, how much are we going to get back, and what are the risks involved in that. And you told me how much I'm going to put in. I got a fair sense of the risks, but you didn't tell me how much I'm going to get back, which is really important to investors. But hats off. Great job to both groups.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let's hear it one more time for the team from UDEM. There we go. Okay. So that's both teams. Thank you for the clicker.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, perfect. Okay. And now, ladies and gentlemen, just for a little bit of wrap up, here's Lauren.
It's a great MC. Thank you, Chris. Thank you to everybody. I want to acknowledge in particular the teachers who have been working with the students this semester. We have Adriana Holguin from Prepa UDEM. And we have Justin Locketts. Where is Justin? Justin, thank you. Can you help me give gifts? So I'm going to ask both of you, and we also have two other teachers who are with us from UDEM as well. We have Ceci, and please tell me your last name, Ceci, because I'm forgetting. Garcia. And Sophia, who is filming, so we'll allow that. And I want to ask the teachers to help me give some small gifts that we have to the VCs. Thank you so much for your time and your expertise today. And thank you all very, very much. Thank you to all the students. Thank you to all of our guests. That concludes the presentations for the day.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and the students and teachers and VCs, or everybody?
Excellent. Great
Okay,
job.
and apparently we are going to do a group photo before lunch. Is that it? All right, and so we are set. Thank you all.